I didn't intend to create a month-long documentary of my life, but it sort of turned out this way, since April just so happened to be one of the most interesting months I have ever experienced. If you are a bookish classics lover, you may have recognized the title of this video from The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, wherein he writes, "April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. Which is so stupid. But yeah, ooh, purple flowers. Those clips you just saw were from the last couple weeks that we could walk freely outside, not knowing that in a week they'd announce that the entire city would undergo a 5-day lockdown, and we'd all scramble to purchase food and household supplies. Many of us held off on a number of supplies, fully believing that the lockdown would only go for 5 days. The lockdown was extended, but they never explicitly announced when it would end, so the days dragged on, with us wondering when it would end. It wasn't like any other lockdowns that other countries had undergone, but I don't want this to be too negative, so I will talk about it more at the end of the video. It was actually a great comfort to see the trees in our backyard spring back to life and start seeds for the garden. During our extreme month-long lockdown, we had to do a COVID test every single morning. When it wasn't an at-home test, we had to do it at our compound entrance in groups, standing 2 meters apart instead of the usual 1, and see people walking around in bio-suits and speaking into megaphones, reminding us to keep our distance. How do I water? How do I? Huh? Look, pretty. Butterfly. Fly on me. When I wasn't doing online school, I was participating in Escape Roll, which is a month-long poetry challenge, repainting tarot cards that I made last year, gardening, and reading. These things kept me sane. By the way, I might do another Escape Roll reading video like I did last year. In the beginning of April, I read my first Joan Didion book, Slouching Towards Bethlehem. Her last piece in the book resonated so deeply within me because those were the things that had been circulating in my mind. It was about growing up in your 20s. For the past few years, I've struggled with feeling behind and feeling lost in a multitude of ways. Now I'm 21 years old and I want to say I couldn't care less about feeling behind. at least about life and its usual path that the world teaches us to think we should take. Graduate high school, go to college, get married, have kids. Not that. What keeps coming back to me is that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. Not really. And I never have. I'm 21 years old and I still live with my parents. I'm not ashamed about that. In fact, I feel lucky. I know I am in my last few years of not having to worry about rent and a job. I feel lucky that I am able to move out when I'm ready and not when I was 18 and I thought I knew what I wanted.
My wrist hurts now. Do you want to switch?
Sure.
Sure. Sure.
It is not the external validation I seek, but something intrinsic that lives within me. Living alone, that will come in time with its own shadows as well as moments of light and peace. But it's the feeling of growing up that hurts so much. I'm in my early 20s and full of dreams so fragile, waiting to be crushed. But I also never want to lose this. This feeling of not knowing, of so many questions waiting to be answered. I've always felt much older than I actually am, so maturity is not what I'm seeking, but instead a stronger sense of myself. I know that I've grown into myself so much over the past few years, and I know that I will continue to do so as I get older. I guess I just wanted this video to encapsulate how I've been feeling recently and just have it be a capsule of these sort of thoughts and how I'm feeling at this point in my life. This reminds me of two of Rainer Maria Rilke's quotes from Letters to a Young Poet, which I know is like a Bible of a sort for young artists and young artists struggling to find their way in life, feeling a little lost, not knowing what they're doing. In this quote, he is talking about what being an artist means, but I feel that it also applies to the premise of this video. He writes, "To be an artist means not to calculate and count, to grow and ripen like a tree which does not hurry the flow of its sap and stands at ease in the spring gales without fearing that no summer may follow. It will come, but it comes only to those who are patient, who are simply there in their vast, quiet tranquility, as if eternity lay before them.
I hope my glasses don't fall apart when you're in there. Because I will go off and just catch my glasses. Didi, stop shaking your butt. It's not serious. Wait, can I do this side? Oh. Wait, no, no, 3, 2, 1. Maybe we should be closer together. Okay, good. Where am I? That's why I cancel. That's why I command Z. I realized I shouldn't cancel. It's so hot. You almost Did you see your face? 3, 2, 3. Also happened to us last time. Where? I just saw the sun. We look like big idiots. Thumbnail. No, iPad. Thumbnail. 3, 2, 1. I can feel how loose your wrists are. I have bad joints. Okay. Great.
And in the second quote, Rilke writes, "You are so young, all still lies ahead of you, and I should like to ask you, as best I can, dear sir, to be patient towards all that is unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms, like books written in a foreign tongue. Do not now strive to uncover answers. They cannot be given you because you have not been able to live them. And what matters is to live everything. Live the questions for now. Perhaps then you will gradually, without noticing it, live your way into the answer, one distant day in the future." If you watched until this point, I just want to say thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this type of more introspective voiceover vlog. So the month of April was one of the scariest months I've ever had. No stores were open at all, and we could not receive any packages. It really was quite scary, but we made it through. Today, where I'm recording this last bit of audio, is May 7th, and we are now out of lockdown, but we can only go out on certain days and only to 2 different grocery stores. And since we live so rural now, there aren't many places to go around here, so we're still mostly just staying home. The flow of packages and shipments are still very much delayed, but once that goes back to normal, it'll feel pretty normal again, since I mostly stay home anyways. It was just scary because of all the stories coming out during the lockdown and how they were forcibly taking people into quarantine sites. And if you Google lockdown China 2022, you will see a lot of stories that I won't delve into in this video, since most of it was about what I was thinking about in the month of April. If you watched until here, please leave 3 sparkling emojis in the comments to let me know. And thank you again for watching.